be really afraid that I would be very short and not very compassionate, like I felt like my mother was sometimes. And she never owned the power of her own speech. Still hasn't. And yet, in my owning my own power of my own speech and where I am in my life these days, the more compassionate I can be. I can choose to do something with that. Before it just lashed out a lot, wounded people. You know, the students that I've had from 3 years earlier than this, they've gone through a lot with me. That's not always been easy. And sometimes it's been really brutal. But that's our own lesson together. And I appreciate them very much. You know, they're my students because I need them as teachers. They're not my students because I have something to impart to them. So I've had about 163 students. It's a lot of teachers. And what I can just say is that I feel like I've done a great job in receiving. And could do better. But it's getting there. So I really offer this thought to you to always bring what you're doing back around to yourself. As you teach your Reiki classes, they'll be serving you. Each class that you teach brings you a gift. Be open to that gift. Because that's the magic. You know, you teach a class and you get this gift and then you get money on top of it. You go, what am I doing with this money? But that's so that you can do something with the gift they gave you. You know, it's like receiving and receiving and receiving. The magic of having first degree Reiki is that you have this energy come down through the top of your head and through your body, and you receive that energy, and what you put out to somebody else is simply the overflow. And the more you receive, the more the overflow comes. You know, you don't actually give Reiki. There's something, you know, about our terminology that's a little misleading. But for me, in initiation of someone, I open myself to receive this energy through my body. And then the overflow goes to connect somebody else to the same energy. I am not giving anybody anything that they don't already have. There is nothing special for me in this, except my own ability to receive and open myself to this energy. So we're learning how to be receivers. And we're not, as a society, very good at this. You know? Just watch yourself this week. I mean, don't beat yourself up, but just watch yourself. I mean, have a little bit of humor. You know? It's like this conversation I had with you earlier today about your name. I want you to receive the name every day that you're here that you want to receive. And if Patsy's the name, that's you. If Patsy's the name, then that's great. But if it's not, then I'd like to know. Because I'd like for you to receive what you need. And maybe it's Patsy, you know? It's like, those are the times and places, those little things, you know? Where do you want to sit in the room? You know? Who would you like to sit next to? Would you like to receive Reiki while you're sitting there in front of somebody? I mean, all of these little things, those are the things that I want you to really watch this weekend, because it's the time when we disconnect. Oh, that's not important. It's just a weekend. It's just a name. You know? It only can start with those places. It's the places that we really can do something about. And they make a difference. Make a big difference. I would actually like to yeah. I just feel like Annali that I'm going to feel her little thing. But Annali's going to leave very, very early tomorrow. She's going to go back off to Canada to her two children and Caslow and Winter. And I really feel like she's here because she has a gift to this group. And I don't really know what the gift is, but I like to just open this space because it's time for you, and I don't know what that is. So I don't want to put you on the spot either, but this is your space. I want you to have it.
On the spot. No, okay. I'm also a Reiki master. Phyllis is my master as well as my mother and Takata. I've had Reiki since I was 11, so it's been since 1979, and yeah, it's just worked through me. Like for the first 6, 7, 8 years, I never really used it physically. I didn't do much healing, but just looking back, I can see the changes it's made in my life, and just in the way I think and the way I see people and how I feel, and yeah, really open. I'm sort of glad with the way I've turned out. I mean, a few years ago, I would have thought it would have been a lot different. But every time I came into a big, something came against, not against me, but something, I was faced with something, I was always felt really well equipped to deal with it. And I think that has a lot to do with the Reiki, just sorting things out, sort of stepping aside and sorting things out. I don't know where this is going. I'm just really happy to be here. It's been a while since I've been around you. And yeah, I don't know. I just hope you'll have a great weekend here and get some answers that you're looking for. Yeah, have fun. I don't know. How's that?
Could I ask if you initiate a lot of children things or your experience?
If I initiate children?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love initiating children actually. It's because they're so open. There's just nothing much in the way. Along life's paths, you collect all this different things that sooner or later you look at these people and they have to get rid of it all, to get back to where they were when they were younger. So I like initiating children. I don't know. Think of anything else.
Well, they'll ask you questions. I have a feeling that this won't be drawn out.
Was there any time in your life when you wish you could get out of it, when you was out of the institution? Felt, my family, why does it have to have this thing?
Not so much that I felt I didn't want it, but there was a time when I wished my mother didn't have Reiki, because she was always out teaching, and we sort of got dragged around with her, around the world, and we were put in school here, and then we were taken out. And, I look back now, and that's how I would want it the same way, but sometimes, I just felt I would have to leave my friends behind and go to the next place, and Yeah, and she wasn't always there for me and my sister, because there was people always phoning her, and she was so involved with it at the time. But yeah, there wasn't any time that I wish it wasn't there. I just wished we could have done things a little bit differently as a family with Reiki.
But you kind of accept that as part of the that is now what you see as a good one.
Yeah, we learned a lot through it. I mean, it made us myself and my sister, more independent, and it made us sort of, do things that we wouldn't have done normally, and especially if we'd lived in Castle, which is where I am again now. But, I mean, we got out of there and we saw different things, and I think it was really good.
Is that the young people there grew up together, a lot of them, in not in communal ways, not communes. And as in a small community, of course, their parents knew each other really well and sometimes traded. They would break up and long partnerships, and then somehow they get back together, and maybe in different, configurations. But they would all be together, and they all were of one community, and the children of this community really had each other. And they did Reiki, a lot of them, when they were very young. And now they're all in their early 20s, and they have this incredible history together of not only their emotional and physical development, but a spiritual development that's very special. And I would love to see other communities of young people be able to have that same support. And it's nothing that one can push, but it certainly is something that can be supported somehow. And I don't know how that could be. So I know that your mom and I always talked about you coming back and working with people who are of your generation or younger, to be able to start forming those communities, because it's obvious that at that age adults don't, there's not a way for that gap to be bridged. And if it comes from a peer or an almost peer, then it becomes a really acceptable kind of thing. And for me, the other interesting thing that happens with young women who come into Reiki when they're younger or in the age of puberty is that they're quite shy about their bodies. So it's hard for them to do Reiki on themselves, and really hard for them to receive or give Reiki to other people. And it's an interesting kind of thing, because I think I don't know if this is true, Annali, but it just seems like with Chloe and those guys that there is always this draw to do it, but then there's this biological thing that goes, and did you have that kind of sense, or maybe you did
not really, no. I don't think Chrissy did, though. I think Chrissy really that one. My sister.
And like they didn't know what to do with their hands. It's like they were kind of drawn because they had Reiki to treat, but then they thought, oh, how can I do that? And you're not supposed to touch boys, and I don't want anybody touching my body. It's a very private thing. So all those kinds of things, and often parents go through the place with teenage girls of having them draw away from, especially the mothers. How mothers have a lot of times a Reiki young children, and then when they get to be in 13 or 14, it's like, Mom, I don't want you to do Reiki on me anymore, that kind of energy. And it's a really interesting place of coming up against this place of independence, not only emotional independence, but like physical independence. And this is my body, and I'm going to control the space of my body. I don't know if all these kids have the same kind of they got into Reiki and they got into Shawl worship and got into all this stuff that their parents did, and so they had this common thread.
Clearly spent a lot of time in seeing the story once. I suppose it is a really different way of seeing the world, the way the other kids do. I think too, if she just takes a chance to be open, I mean, sometimes her friends might even surprise her, they might accept
They
it.
do. They put it on the table.
No, I mean, like, she wants to say, hey, you're going to be beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, gosh, there's something about you or whatever. It might be a bit scary at first, but I think if she opens up, she'll be surprised at people's response back.
Yeah, she does in more intimate situations. She said it's sort of like, yeah, this is just walking down the school corridor and she suddenly feels very
I just got so
yeah. I think, the time that really got it for me because I used to feel the same way that I couldn't accept money and I would do Reiki on my friends and I even initiated some really close friends and I didn't want to take money from them, which was okay at the time, that was fine. But as I said before, I have 2 children and when I split up with the father, it was like I had no money and I had 2 children to raise and I thought, okay, what can I do? I didn't want to go, a lot of people go to the government for money because you're being a single parent, they'll just give you the money. And I thought, no, my mother has never done that and I would feel pretty degraded having to take money. So I couldn't do that. And then it all just made sense to me. I have something, I'm doing good for this person, they can do good for me. I'm helping them in a way and they can help me. It's like an energy trade. We're exchanging something, and what they were doing, they would give me even like $20, that would buy a few groceries and I wouldn't have to worry for a few days and then I would do another treatment and it just sort of all worked out. Like before I got a job. And even now still, people want to pay because they don't, I think in a way people appreciate things more if they have to pay for it. Anybody will stand up in a line, if something says free, that everybody will be there, right, to see what's free at the other end of the line. That's how I feel.
No, I just feel this. I don't feel that way now. I feel from your age. No way I will take any. If this is not your gift, to my child. I understand.
Yeah, I think you come to a place where you feel comfortable and then you do what's right for you. Yeah. Because that was the same, like I didn't feel it was right, so I didn't charge. And now I do. I mean, now it feels okay I feel confident in myself that they're getting something, that really helps. And it feels okay for me to have money. And sometimes it's not even money, sometimes it's vegetables from their garden or however it helps.
My teacher helped me with that too by saying if you don't feel right to charge for that wonderful gift, you charge for your time.
Exactly.
Because you can't get someone to come and do your housework or do things without giving something for their time. And so that helped me with that one too. And some people need to have the privilege to be able to give because they want to give or they don't want to ring up and say, I want to come again. They feel, that you need to give them the opportunity to be able to give if that's what they want to do.
Something that I did also at the beginning when I started working with people because I had a really big problem with money.
Highest possibility of the potential that's in this room. I am not interested in falling to the lowest common denominator. It doesn't serve you and it wastes my time. So all I'm saying to you is that, I want you to be present as masters. That's why I call that part of you out. I want us to respect each other and to treat each other with our gifts. And that's really important. And for me, that's the highest. That's calling on some of the highest and the deepest parts of who you are. It doesn't mean that there won't be these kind of ugly places, that we find in ourselves or express. That's all a part of our highest part too. It's not like love and light. I'm pretty down on love and light as a concept. I'm into living reality, into living your love, into, having it be out there. So be careful about rules and, all of that process. Because we all have our exceptions. That's all right. And I can't explain them. Part of the ritual that I would like to do every day when we open a session and close the session